Okay. Good morning, Mrs. Erickson, right?
Yes.
This morning we're going to be talking about the Liberian students in this institution. And what is the name of the institution again?
Our school is called the Adult and Family Learning. We are located at 7051 Brooklyn Boulevard in Brooklyn Center. In our school, we offer not only ESL classes, but we offer basic skills and GED classes for people from all over the world.
Now, when you say ESL, what do you mean?
ESL is English as a second language. Usually people that come from a country where English is not their first language, they go to our classes that teach English and conversation and writing and reading.
Now, I understand that before this building, before you came to this building, at the old building where you were, a lot of Liberians came there and you had issues with regards to English as a second language for the courses you were taking as opposed to basic skills.
Yes. When our Liberians moved into the Brooklyn Park, Brooklyn Center area, we originally did put them into our English classes, but of course they speak English. They understand English. It's a different dialect than American English, but the ESL class was not the right fit for them. So we looked at our classes, reorganized our classes, and now we have 5 levels of basic skills where a student can come to us with maybe very limited reading skills. We test them and place them in one of these classes, and they can learn how to read, how to write, and get ready for the workplace or for teaching their children. A person could come with no reading ability at all and begin with our classes and will not need to be embarrassed, because we have many students who are at the beginning and learning, and they are all adults, so that you're not feeling like you're with children.
Well, what would you say has been your achievement from that point to this point with regards to the fact, with the changing curriculum and how, especially Liberians are faring? Would you say there's been a change?
Yes, we've changed a lot. In the beginning, or maybe I should say more like 5 or 10 years ago, we had mostly GED classes with maybe small groups that met to brush up on skills. We now have self-contained classrooms where students learn reading, writing. They have a reading class, they have a writing class, they have a math class, and then they have computer class. And so when they come, they learn these basic skills in a lot of different varieties. They have different teachers. We've expanded our program, so we have more teachers teaching basic skills. We have more of a variety of curriculum, and we have a better idea when we test a person which would be the appropriate class for them. What we have found through the years, that students have stayed with us. They've moved up through these classes, and now after you graduate from these 5 levels of basic skills, they move into academics and GED preparation classes, and we have a number of students who have gone the full length of our classes and into our GED preparation and have gotten their GED or are preparing today for their GED.
Now, it seems to be a very popular program, and I understand there's a waiting list. Are there any plans for expand, considering that I understand that at any time you may have anywhere from 700 to 900 students? Well,
at one time we usually more like 700, in a current time. Through the year, we have serviced last year approximately 1,300 students, but they're not here all at the same time throughout the year they've been here. As far as expansion is concerned, we are pretty dependent on our funding for expansion. When you mentioned that we have waiting lists, that is true. We have waiting lists from this year. In the beginning of the year, we had from about 200 to 300 people on our waiting list. And in November, we stopped taking people's names and suggested that they look into different schools because we weren't sure if we could service them. We were still working off of our 300 students that were waiting. excuse me. And so, I lost my train of thought. Tell me again your
The
question.
population of the school and students coming in, anywhere from 700 to 900 at any time, and you know, funding for the school.
Funding, that's
right.
what you're saying. Okay. We have had waiting lists of 200 to 300 people. What we are starting to do now to address the funding system, besides going to rallies and supporting our efforts at the legislature to try to enhance our funding for next year, we've begun giving packets out when a new student comes in and we don't have room for them and they're on the waiting list. We'll give them a packet where they can do some things on their own while they're waiting to come into our school. There's websites, there's library information, and then we're sending also a postcard that they can fill out and send to the legislator from this area, or we can help them find out if they're not living in our area, who is their representative, who is their senator, so that they can receive information from waiting students who are saying, we're waiting to get into a program because the funding has not been sufficient, so that the schools in Brooklyn Park and Brooklyn Center area, there's more need than there is funding to supply teachers.
What would you say has been the greatest, in your analysis, the greatest need for Liberians coming into this institution? You know, like whether it's English, whether it's reading and writing, whether it's conversation. You know, like Liberians, as you said, they have an understanding of English already, albeit it's not American English. But what would you say from your own observation?
Well, I think we start with the reading skills. A lot of our students come to us with very basic reading skills. They understand their letters, they understand the words, but they have some difficulty with comprehension. When they read something, they can't remember what they read. You're not able to really go into training onto either a technical school or to a community education, a community college, without those academic skills. So we probably, reading probably comes first. Right next to that is writing. Again, if you want to go on to school, if you want to try to get a job that's a little bit higher than base salary, you usually need training. And writing is a huge part of additional training in various schools. So those skills are probably first, the reading and the writing. Then we tell our students, if you are interested in getting a job in America, we'll need to practice American English. I know we know that they understand English, they understand what is being said, but others don't always understand what they are saying. And Americans are not real, they're usually in a hurry.
Right.
And they will not always sit around and try to figure out what you say, yes. And so it's to their advantage to try to learn both American English and Liberian English. You speak American English when you're trying to work in the workplace. You speak Liberian English. You don't want to lose that because that's your family. That's your language. But just like other people maybe from Mexico have to learn both, know Spanish and have to learn English, it is similar. If we went to Scotland or Wales and wanted to get a job there, we'd have to learn English with that kind of an accent in order to be successful, and it's just part of the process. So that would come later. We don't usually emphasize that in the beginning, but as people are looking for jobs, that is an element they need to look at.
That is one funny thing that you just said, because a lot of Liberians can lapse into some semblance of American English and still have their Liberian English to hold on to. But the fact that you mentioned that, you know, you have to learn that, because I know when I first came to the States, I would be put off by if an American said maybe 1 or 2, 3 times, and so we'll get discouraged and not bother anymore. So it's also a good thing for us, or maybe other nationalities, to learn the English so that you wouldn't be put off and you interact with people in your workplace or wherever you are. Plus,
it certainly will make your opportunities for work a higher possibility.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much for having me here, Mrs. Erickson.
Let me just mention one other thing, and that is, even though we do have waiting lists, we do have a large population of the people that come here are Liberians. Probably somewhere between 10 and 15% of our students are from Liberia or from other parts of Africa. And so we do have large populations.
Oh, that's good. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.